Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ah. It is a full moon and wolf moon. Ow! Oh, so cute. I like this filter. It's a hibiscus, one of my country, Dominican Republic flowers. Anyways, I just got another channel message, like intensely. And I feel like it's the more these people are not taking accountability and not doing what they know they should be doing already and continue doing atrocity, evil stuff, the more is going to be revealed, and there's more embarrassment, more humiliation, and more stuff is going to be exposed, because it is embarrassing. It is pathetic that they're literally trying to protect an intense war criminal, a psychopath. But Father God keeps saying, like, they're exposing themselves. Look who they're supporting, look who they're protecting, because that's who they are. He's a representation, he's a mirror to what politicians, what government officials, what these billionaires are. The reason they were protecting him is because there's a cult. He keeps saying there's a cult. They have to do something in order to join this cult. And it's very, very, like, I know a lot of you guys don't believe in all these, like, Illuminati and all this stuff, but they do. And he keeps saying this conspiracy theory, it was made up by them, billionaires. All these people who are literally destroying our planet and humanity for more money, more greed, and they don't give a fuck. But one thing that he kept mentioning today, this morning, nonstop, he said, keep looking into the 7,000 pedophile raping community chat and Telegram. He said that the main people who are in this group are the people that you need. They're connected to what is going on. Okay, they have an intense hatred towards women, because most of them, they weren't raised right, and obviously, toxic, Jezebel, karmic energy. Yeah, they don't want me to say this. Yeah, so it's connected to them. So the more they're not doing it, the more is going to be exposed, and there needs to be an investigation of that. Like, Telegram needs to be exposing that. But that's another thing, is like, it's all connected to that energy. Also, they have a huge hate towards Muslim people. The religion itself, Islam. They pretend to be Christian evangelists or something like that. Something about Stephen Harper. So that girl that talked about that, was going on with AI, and the whole, like, she's right on point. So Father God is like, yeah, a lot of us, the people who are atheists, Father God said they have the highest discernment right now, so we should be listening to them, because unfortunately, religion has been used as a weapon to keep people oppressed, to keep lying and justifying genocide, evil thing, pedophilia. So apparently, to join this cult, you have to do some type of greedy, some really vile thing. Politicians know what they have to do. They know. It's just a secret, right? But it's not really a secret. God is exposing it. So, yeah. They have to do something towards women, children, and stuff like that. I'm just a messenger. You guys go do your research, go do what you gotta do, but there's something about January 6th. He kept saying, don't forget about January 6th. He keeps saying, like, look who they're putting as a president, and they're trying to wipe out what happened on January 6th. The infiltration of the White House, like, no, we're forgetting that? Yeah, it's intentional that they're doing that. Yeah, he said there's something about that they have to do to join this cult in order to gain money. And he kept repeating that all billionaires have literally infiltrated everywhere, and it's not a conspiracy theory. That's what they want you guys to believe. That's what they keep saying. Yes, they are that vile. They are racist. Okay? And they have this seniority complex, this privilege complex, thinking that because, you know, they have money and they're white, then they can get away with whatever. Nope. So right now, this ICJ or whatever, which is honestly, it sounds like a fucking scam, to be honest. But at the end of the day, the more they're trying to cover up for this guy, the more they're allowing this person, especially what's going on with Syria and what's going on in Yemen as well, like that has consequences. I know a lot of it's like, okay, but when we're impatient, right? He keeps saying divine timing, but he's going to expose. Like a lot of y'all, we need to investigate that. He says there is attachment to the 70,000 group chat on Telegram connected to billionaires, government, and politicians. And also climate change, obviously. What's going on in Palestine, Congo, Sudan. Also something related to what happened in Puerto Rico. Something about Puerto Rico. I have to research. And some of you already know what's going on. There's something that happened that someone burned something about, this. And I know it's not, he says it's not arson, it's climate change. But then some people do create arson, and I feel like this is something that it was created, but they thought they could control it. So there's going to be an investigation that what happened in California is not only induced by climate change, but it was created as a form of destruction. They just didn't know that it was going to spread. That's what Spirit just said. But at the end of the day, they don't care about the people. So for everyone in California and LA, I'm really sorry. But it's the same thing. They see you guys as collateral damage. Just like what's going on in Palestine, in Congo. They don't care. They just want the resources. They just want to extract. Are we going to continue allowing evil like this? We should not. And we will not. That's the thing. God is exposing, embarrassing, because that's what they wanted. They wanted to humiliate people of color. They wanted to embarrass them. They wanted to put them beneath them. They wanted to teach them a lesson, right? Punish them. They wanted to humiliate you guys. They want to put you down. They want to put you in your place. Well, guess who's putting them in their place? Yeah. So I told you, we've been saying this. They're not higher than God. They think that they're gods, right? Like they think that they're high almighty, right? Yeah. God is going to show them who their creator is. But before that, he's going to make sure that a lot of y'all, you watch what's going to happen to each and one of them until they get it, you know? But a lot of us, we're not supposed to. That's why you need to be supporting the resistance, supporting each other, their community, uniting, creating mutual aid and stuff outside of these platforms, because they own these platforms. They own the media. They own, right? Support independent journalists. Support journalists right now. Like independent, you know? Share, repost, continue. Go check out my Telegram. Look at my repost, okay? We have work to do, all right? There is consequences of these fires in California and LA. I'm already doing some predictions already with calculating some data. We have accelerated even more because of this in the past 2 days. So get ready, because this is not only going to affect in the USA, it's going to affect everywhere in the world. We're already feeling it, right? Time to get going. We need to sanction and put some type of stop to these parasites, because they are, and spreading, right? And they know it. Starve the beast. Starve it. Continue boycotting. Continue divesting, okay? Also, it saves you money and keeps you healthy too. Protect your communities. Join community. Use mutual aids. I love you. Be safe out there, okay? And I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, I want to preface this video by saying that I have a lot of dear friends that lost everything in these fires. Dear friends with big hearts that do not support genocide. I hate to be so bold about this, but this is what happens when one colonizes a land that's not native to them. They silenced and displaced Native Americans and did not heed their warnings. The state and the wealthy did not heed the warnings of scientists and ecologists. The Malibu and Palisades Chaparral has caused firestorms every decade or so since before human settlement. It's a fire ecology. The problem is humans building so many homes in the middle of highly flammable vegetation. I want to honor the late historian, activist, and geologist Mike Davis, often referred to as the Prophet of Doom, who wrote this brilliant book, Ecology of Fear, Los Angeles and the Imagination of Disaster. And he was even awarded the MacArthur Fellowship, which is commonly known as the Genius Grant. Chapter 3 of Ecology of Fear is titled, The Case for Letting Malibu Burn. I'll just read a few sentences. Hillside home building, moreover, has despoiled the natural heritage of the majority for the sake of an affluent few. Much of the beautiful coastal sage and canyon riparian ecosystems of the Santa Monica Mountains have been supplanted by castles and guard gate prestige. In the chapter, Mike Davis basically makes a compelling and logical case that the dry hills surrounding the Los Angeles area, running from Pasadena to Malibu, will regularly ignite when the Santa Ana winds blow. So building houses on those hills all but guarantees that the houses will, of course, undoubtedly burn, particularly when those winds soar above 50 miles per hour. And what we saw the other day were 90-mile-per-hour Santa Ana winds. The Palisades in Malibu would be a ridiculous place to build homes even without climate change, because the chaparral makes them a fire trap. So once again, I'm sorry, but the absolute conceit of humans to think that they can control nature like this. I recommend that everyone reads this book, Ecology of Fear, as well as his other book, City of Quartz, which he wrote in the early 90s, where he talks about Los Angeles essentially being both a utopia and a dystopia. This man right here was so brilliant. He had a masterful way of digging through the ruins of the past to see the future. At the end of his life, Mike Davis actually talked a lot about his fears about the governments around the world being unable to confront the climate crisis. He also talked about the likelihood of mass death, particularly for the world's poorest people, and the inability of political leaders to confront the coming crisis. He was heavily involved in the civil rights movement, and I think one of the characteristics I love most about him is his absolute refusal to give in to despair. I want to end this video with his words. What keeps us going ultimately is our love for each other and our refusal to bow our heads to accept the verdict, however all-powerful it seems. It's what ordinary people have to do. You have to love each other. You have to defend each other. You have to fight.
Hi everyone, I'd like you to meet the Resnicks, a billionaire couple controlling an astonishing amount of California's water, whom have deep ties to Israel that cannot be overlooked. Stuart and Linda Resnick, with a combined net worth of $9 billion, quietly seized control of California's water supply in 1994 through their company, Wonderful. Today, they consume over 150 billion gallons of water annually, even as working-class Californians face droughts, rising water costs, and severe restrictions. The Resnicks own brands like Fiji Water, Palm Wonderful, Halo's Mandarins, and Wonderful Pistachios. Their agriculture empire is based in California's Central Valley, where they grow water-intensive crops like almonds and pistachios, while local communities struggle with water scarcity. The Resnicks acquired the Kern Water Bank, one of California's largest water reserves, through a controversial privatization deal in 1994, gaining control of a resource that's meant to serve the public. As California's drought worsens, their farms continue to expand, consuming vast amounts of water while local communities are left to ration and pay skyrocketing rates. Their hoarding of water resources has dire consequences during California's devastating wildfires, where shortages exacerbate the damage. And what are the Zionist Resnicks' ties to Israel? They are major donors to Israel and its institutions, contributing millions to the Friends of the IDF and $50 million to the Technion Israel Institute of Technology. They established the Linda and Stuart Resnick Fellowship at the National Library of Israel. And they're partnering with Israeli companies like Netafim, which is a company helping them monopolize their water in California through bolstering their agricultural business needs. Now here's the thing. Did you know that there was no water coming out of the fire hydrants to help fight these fires? No water pressure whatsoever. Did you know that the Resnicks privatized this water to those millionaires and billionaires that can afford it? meaning they pick and choose who gets to fight these fires with their monopolized water. Did you know that the Pacific Palisades Reservoir was emptied before the fires erupted? Did you know firefighters are now filling up women's purses with water to throw onto fires? Did you know that firefighters are now filling up cones to throw onto fires? Did you know by firefighters, I mean prisoners whom are forced to fight these fires and risk their lives at well below minimum wage while saying that they wish they just stayed in prison? State-sponsored slavery happening right before our very eyes? Did you know insurance companies such as State Farm dropped entire neighborhoods from coverage just before the fires erupted? Did you know that the state of California contributes the most funds of any other state in the entire United States to the terrorist non-state of Israel with a whopping $610 million a year, with $50 million of that coming from the city contributing the most of all cities in California, which is the city of Los Angeles, which happens to be the city getting ravaged by these wildfires, which happens to be the city that cut close to $20 million from their firefighters. We live in a free country where two people who live in a city and state that are the highest contributors to a terrorist foreign government enacting a Holocaust can monopolize water from getting to families that need it the most and from getting to firefighters preventing the fires from being fought. Firefighters whom are prisoners being used as state-sponsored slave labor so that these two can gain more wealth through their monopolization and privatization of water to send more of their own money to a terrorist foreign government enacting a Holocaust with the bombs provided by this free country, which are the heaviest contributors to our climate crisis, including these wildfires that the powers that be of this free country are blaming on the wind.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
There absolutely is a genocide happening in West Papua. It's been happening for years. Why is this happening? Because West Papua is home to one of the world's largest gold mines. The reserves are worth an estimated $100 billion. Since the dictatorship of Indonesia's annexed West Papua in 1969, it's estimated around 500,000, 500,000 West Papuans have been killed fighting to achieve independence. The problem is this genocide has continued for so long because there's been little to no media coverage. So like many other BIPOC people in the world whose lands are rich in resources, their lives don't matter. Their lives aren't as important. Their lives aren't worth the international community fighting for. We talk about these oppressive countries like Israel, like Indonesia, like the US. We're not criticizing the people. We're not criticizing you. We're criticizing the government. We're criticizing corporate interests. Keep talking about Palestine. Keep talking about West Papua. Keep talking about the Congo. This is just the beginning.
Insurance companies are canceling fire coverage.
Hi, I'm Isaiah. I'm an environmentalist, and I want to talk about insurance companies, housing, and the future of having our own homes insured. Please go watch the past video, but an estimated 1 in 13 or 6.1 million homeowners are uninsured, and that growing number of unavailability and unaffordable insurance stands to disproportionately affect those in low-income communities and communities of color, which we are seeing right now when we're comparing communities in the Pacific Palisades, the Pasadena areas, and then now in the Silmar San Fernando region, which I live in, where a lot of that community are typically poor Black and brown communities. Now, what people are forgetting is that insurance companies actually knew about climate change since the 1970s. There are some articles that say that they didn't, or some articles that say that they didn't know the uncertainty of the climate risk that we are dealing with today. But they know because they have worked with insuring other companies. And if you didn't know, insurance companies, some of the largest insurance groups, fund a lot of projects from coal, from fossil fuel projects, and other energy-related resource projects that can have negative environmental impacts. And so there is this understanding that they did know from it. And there's also a problematic history behind insurance companies. And even if you go farther back to what insurance companies has found, is that some of the policies out there from at least 1,300 pre-Civil War slave policies were found in the archives of the world's largest insurance companies, including Aetna, AIG, and New York Life, that upholded the belief of making sure to profit off of people who were enslaved. And I want to introduce a term called climate havens, which are cities and areas in which the least amount of climate disasters are likely to happen, or there's more management of temperatures and ecosystems, where you see here in the West Coast, in the LA region, which a lot of us cannot even afford homes. Like, I can't afford a home. I'm actually planning to probably move to Minnesota to buy a home out there because I don't think I could raise a family in LA anymore. But these are some of the serious things that people are reconsidering, is that how are you supposed to feel safe to buy a home when you can't even be insured? I have a lot of friends who have gotten lucky to have insurance policies for the next decades that covers their homes, and some who do not have insurance for their homes. If you want to learn more about the intersections of insurance companies and climate change and why there are increasing prices, I've done a lot of work on this, and make sure to follow me at Queer Brown Vegan.
My name is Jeff Beeman. I'm a retired scientist and a member of Scientist Rebellion. The fires in LA right now are a reminder that we do not have the luxury of business as usual any longer. We need to stop justifying our complacency and stop offloading the consequences of our lifestyles onto the ecosystems of Earth. Scientists have been the watchdogs warning us for a long time. Believe us and start making changes. Stop flying for fun, support high-speed rail, and treat fossil fuels as though they are poison, because they are. Demand better leadership and don't vote it away when our leaders tell us the truth. Pay attention to what's happening and get to work with whatever energy you've got. We all need to do our part to bend the curve. Our grandkids are counting on us.
The entire Pacific Palisades looks like, unfortunately Gaza or one of these war-torn.
Here's what nobody's telling you about the fire. See, the land of California was the second most populated in North America after Mexico. There were over 300,000 natives. And these folks knew how to take care of it. They would set controlled fires every 5 to 50 years. I studied over 250 plants for food and medicine. They were using controlled fires to boost the productivity of the land. This was science-based knowledge. When the little colonizer weasels arrived, they was like, these burns, they ain't good for making money. There's a lot of timber out here. We can build more ships and more shit. That's how the controlled burns, indigenous folks, became illegal. A lot of different rules and laws. Remember that little fish, not Nemo, Trumpster keeps talking about? Turns out the colonizers also dried up 90% of the wetlands and rivers. Became dry land. So the real estate developers who can't stop won't stop and continue building more shit. 60% of the homes built in between 1990 and 2010 were built in high-risk wildfire area valued at $1 trillion. This doesn't just happen in California, you've seen it in Australia. The Aboriginal burning practices were also made criminal. California is the 5th largest economy in the world. Real problemo is that they wanted to make too much money, and the price to pay is the fire.
Left or right, red or blue, it doesn't matter. If you're a working class American, you are getting played, and I can prove it to you in about 90 seconds. Look around. We all agree that the richest of the rich are not paying their fair share. We all agree that healthcare costs are literally killing us. We all agree that it shouldn't take 3 jobs just to afford a 1-bedroom apartment. But here's what the ultra rich don't want you to realize. They don't just live in a different tax bracket than us. They live in a completely different America. One where they don't have to actually rely on the government for anything. Power grid goes down, whole house generator kicks in. Roads start crumbling, take the private jet. Why would they want affordable healthcare when they're the ones who are profiting off of the system? The truth is, we're not divided, we're distracted. In 1964, 77% of Americans trusted the government. Now it's under 20%. The government is not doing its job, and for the ruling class, that's perfect. It's an opportunity for them to make more money. They've decided money is the only game worth playing, so we have to meet them on their ground. Great, there's millions of us and there's only a handful of them. So we don't need to agree on everything. We just need to agree that the system is rigged against us. You know how you were taught to never talk about money with your friends or family? Yeah, screw that. Because once we start comparing notes, we're gonna realize that we're all getting squeezed in the exact same ways. Left or right, red or blue, it doesn't matter. We're getting played. Nothing brings Americans together faster than realize that we're being screwed, and nothing scares billionaires more than us figuring that out together. Check out my other videos for actionable tips on how to fight back right now. Get involved in your local community. Start talking to your neighbors. Meet them. Build roots. They want us divided. We have to come together and unite.
I make the exact kind of content the government is worried about on TikTok, so I can honestly say they should be concerned. Class consciousness is the single greatest threat to the oligarchs' existence. But it wasn't TikTok or foreign manipulation that radicalized us. The government did that all on its own with its catastrophic failure to do the one thing it exists for: serving the people. Quality of life has plunged drastically over the last 4 years, and while the mainstream media has done nothing but gaslight us about it, we've watched as our corrupt politicians have done nothing but line their pockets by allowing megacorporations to literally burn the planet to the ground. So no, it's not TikTok making people hate the government. The government is doing that all on its own. In fact, it would get good press on TikTok if they ever did anything good. But taking away TikTok will not stop class consciousness, because they've made conditions in this country bad enough that trying to survive today is enough to radicalize people. There's not a facade anymore. People see the systems of oppression for what they are. But yeah, what better time to ban the circus?
I posted that homeless people shouldn't have to freeze to death in the winter, and maybe it's naive of me, but I was shocked to learn how many people think that homeless people actually deserve to freeze to death in the winter as some sort of punishment for having become homeless. I'm wondering if, hoping that, some people just don't really understand what homelessness is. A person living on the street, in a tent, in an abandoned house, in a shelter, could be homeless. Consistently renting rooms in a motel or a hotel could be considered homeless. Living in their car, living in transitional housing or treatment centers without set plans for what to do after. Someone who is forced out of their house through domestic violence, whose landlord jacks up the rent and evicts them. Someone who misses 2 paychecks, a child who gets kicked out of their parents' house, or someone who's in between jobs and just needs to couch surf for a bit could be homeless. 40 to 60% of homeless people have jobs, but they can't afford a home. So at what point do some people go from the cost of living is really high and it's really hard to afford basic needs right now to people who can't afford a home deserve to? Between 25 and 50% of people experiencing homelessness do also experience substance abuse issues. At what point do we lose our empathy and stop seeing people suffering from addiction as people? If you are a person who thinks that homeless people or addicts, which are not mutually exclusive groups, deserve to freeze to death, I think it is you who has lost your humanity.
Men protect women.
From what? From what? Tigers, lions, wild animals, dinosaurs, from what? You all have this stupid fucking conception that men protect women. Men whose job is to protect could not protect children a couple days ago. Regardless, let's get back to the question, from what? Other men? So you agree men are dangerous? Like, at least some of them are dangerous, right? Because I can already fucking hear some idiots screeching, not all men. But how are we supposed to know exactly which fucking men? How do you assess without putting yourself in danger which men are fucking dangerous? Because for all we know, there are so many men out there who are playing nice to get what they want, but when they can't, they're abusive pieces of fucking shits. So we are going to play around the idea that men protect women because you have some fucking ego trip or some shit. But we're going to dismiss the fact that men are the ones who are harming women. How about instead of preaching men protect women, we teach fucking men not to harm women and children? But no, that doesn't work, right? Because you want women and children to be fucking vulnerable so that you can step in and lure them into your fucking safety. Instead of dismantling the fucking social norms and patriarchal constructs that are causing harm to these people, you want to tell women that men are not dangerous while you know full well men are fucking dangerous. You all incels are such fucking pieces of shits.
Greatest theft in history was not executed with weapons or with masks on. It was not to remove a grand piece of art from a museum or a massive diamond from the basement of some secret castle. It was perpetrated in shiny towers by greedy capitalists who were systematically gutting the future for children of America. In 3 generations, these modern-day aristocrats transformed America from a shining beacon of prosperity into their own personal hunting grounds, where dreams don't go to just die, they are harvested for profit beforehand. This is not mere failure or just plain and simple greed. It is calculated predation. Let's strip away the bullshit real fast, okay? Productivity has gone up 60% since 1979 while wages have risen 15%. Where did all of that money go? It went straight into the 1%'s offshore tax havens and their bonuses that would make Marie Antoinette blush. They're not just taking their share anymore. They're taking everything that isn't bolted down and then selling the bolts on top of it. We need to call this what it is, a methodical ransacking of the American working class. These modern-day feudal lords haven't just rigged the game. They have bought the casino, bribed the dealers, stacked the deck, and reprogrammed the slots, all to work in only their favor. The time for polite disagreement is over. The next chapter will be written in labor strikes, mass protests, and systemic upheaval. They've created a generation with nothing to lose, and soon they will understand what that means.
Hi, coming to you for once with some very good news. After 14 months under RSF control, the city of Medeni in Ďežíta State has finally been recaptured by the Sudanese military. This is huge. For one, because Medeni is the capital of Ďežíta State and one of the major cities in Sudan, but also because over the last 14 months, the people of Medeni and Ďežíta State at large have been living unspeakable horrors under RSF control. And if you needed any indication of the amount of terror and destruction that the RSF has caused, just take a look at Sudanese people's reactions today to the news of the liberation of Medeni.
Yeah, innocent people are dying, but that's just war. But why are you saying that? Where did this idea come from? That innocent people have to die. This is one of those lines that you see from one politician trying to cover their ass, and we have the average person repeating them. There should be no normal human being out there that is just okay with governments killing innocent people. Because if that was your family being murdered, you wouldn't just go, well, the government had to kill them. They were in a refugee camp, in a tent, and they just had to be bombed. You, as a normal person, should not be finding ways to morally corrupt yourself to somehow believe that killing innocent people is okay. We have enough politicians and CEOs already trying to kill us for more profit. A normal person should stand on these moral grounds that innocent people should not die. So if you see someone saying, or you yourself are saying, well, you know innocent people die in war, you should question yourself, why am I saying that? Where did I first hear that? And if it goes back to some politician or CEO, you should question where you're getting your morals from at this point.
One CEO was shot and the whole world knew about it. They found the suspect within few hours. Our people in Congo have been dying since 1996. We have been screaming about it non-stop. To this date, no one has been found accountable for all those millions of people who have died, and the whole world still doesn't know about it. The social media don't speak about it. These big media companies don't care to talk about it. Right now, there's an ongoing war that has displaced millions of people. Right now in Congo, there are around 8 million people who are internally displaced, with no food, with no clean water, with no medical care. They lack all the basic necessities. They're sleeping in tents. Does the world know about it? They really don't give a gringo shit about it. Does one person important than millions of people who have died? In my book, I would say no. But to the 1%, yes. The one person is always important than the millions of people who are dying around the world because of their own interests.
Yeah. So, yeah, the channel messages are just coming and coming and coming. Okay. I'm just a messenger. Okay. So please use your discernment and leave what doesn't. Okay. But the message keeps saying that it's something that they have to do, and they all have to do it. This is the requirement. So they basically have, like, you know, when they say like, oh, you have to give your soul for money or something like that. And this is how a lot of y'all feel like when you have to do like jobs, shitty jobs, you know, to pay bills and maintain, and that's what capitalism is. It's like a death cult. It's like you and that too is like they thrive of y'all not being educated, not informed, not only just spiritually but also like real history, like real facts and real stuff. Like they thrive of like, and then they tell us like, oh, this misinformation, fact checking and stuff like that. Like a lot of y'all, your intuition is your fact check. God is your fact check. And they benefit from a lot of your lack of wisdom and lack of knowledge because they don't have any. This is why they try to distort it. And the reason why they don't want you guys to learn and stuff like that is because they are the psychopath terrorists that they're telling you that all the people of color and everybody else is. But they are literally telling you guys who they are. You know how, like, this parasite, like, all the demonic mediums, they get triggered by, like, watermelon or the kafia or, like, you know how reactive they get and how, like, it triggers is your light that triggers their demons. It's not the actual items. It's you wearing it. It's you exposing the truth that triggers their demons because they live in that comfortability that I don't want to believe the truth because it's too hard to believe. Also, I'm too comfortable in my filth and my lies and my fake persona because that's what it is. Capitalism, you have to build that persona, a fake identity kind of thing to conform to other people so they are not uncomfortable with your truth. Like intimidatism, that a lot of your authenticity, your truth, your integrity, like you don't give up your integrity, your soul for money. But guess who does it all the time? Those who are trying to uphold and maintain capitalism. Pay attention. But Father God keeps saying that they have to do something in order to maintain their political before they become president or prime ministers. There's an investigation that needs to happen with Stephen Harper because this guy, he covers himself with evangelism or religion or something like that. And Father God keeps saying, like, you guys need to investigate that person. Same thing with Obama. Like, all of them. They all have dirty, fucked up secrets that is going to be exposed. And a lot of you are going to be like, no. You better believe it. Like, God is going to expose all of them before he takes matters. Which he is taking matters. And he's starting, unfortunately. They lied to all of us. They've been lying. That's it. Capitalism thrives on lies. Manipulation, emotional manipulation, and there's spiritual too, heavy ones. Like a lot of you guys, you have dodged a bullet. There's a lot of dark warlords and practitioners and really intense hired by these people that they know that they cannot touch you. They know they cannot mix with you. Because none of the stuff that they have done to destroy you has worked. That's it. Now they have to deal with diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia. Father God keeps mentioning all kinds of like, there's a lot of people with STDs right now. A lot of your Father keeps saying like, if someone has STD, the contract is over. So all these pick me and all these people with hookups and multiple, like he keeps saying that, like twin flames, you have an STD, it's done. The contract is over. What do you mean? You fuck multiple people and you think you're gonna go towards someone who's been waiting for a divine partnership? Now because you fuck all these people, oh no, now you realize who the real quality is. But guess what? The person who is the quality, they see you as you just a quantity. You're not worth their time. And you can't force and manipulate this. Twin flame or not twin flame, high level soulmate, whatever the fuck. That's for someone. Sorry, I'm like channeling like crazy right now. I gotta go. But one of the intense karmas or negative karma for people who have done foul things to other people and thinking you're gonna get away with it, genocide. You have gained money and fund, supported and endorsed, enable psychopath, mania, genocidal people because they're just people. A lot of you stop idolizing them. That's the first step. And watch how ordinary these people are. Take away their toy, their money. Stop buying their shit. Boycott Tesla. Take away Chat DDP from your phone. You'll see it's amazing how many space you will save. Don't buy new phones. Buy used phones. Reuse, whatever. Try to maintain yours as much as you can. Computers. Try it. You will see. And it was already happening. Boycott McDonald's. Starbucks. Look at the BDSS woman. Do the work. This is the easiest and the easiest way to protest, revolt. Anti-capitalism is gonna happen, but it's gonna start with us because this world is no longer sustainable anymore, obviously. They literally want to continue maintaining their wealth with our money, our energy, while they don't do shit for nobody. I gotta go. But that's your message. Start doing the work, the shadow work and the colonization. Now it's even more important than ever because you need that discernment that comes from the colonization. You need to be also connected with God, whether you're an atheist or not. I don't give a shit. Even atheist people, like, God believes in you so much. He knows that nobody can fool you. And now he's advocating for all of y'all because it's never been about religion. He created you and you're doing the work. Now he's guiding me to follow a bunch of atheists that he's like, yeah, I need you to follow this person. A lot of spiritual people, he's like, block that. They haven't talked about this. They haven't done this. They only talk about bullshit, nonstop. A lot of people that too, like, you rely on YouTube. You don't have outside work. Okay. Who do you have to blame now? And yes, scarcity of jobs and stuff like that is happening because we have a fucking thing that's trying to replicate us. Robots now. So we're no longer useful for them. Slavery. Prison. People as firefighters. What? And they pay them minimum, like, $2 per day? What the fuck? We cannot let them normalize slavery. That's why we keep saying this capitalism death cult, because it's killing everything, humanity and our planet. And it's our job to stop it. And they know it. So let's get to work. Free Congo, free Palestine, free Sudan, free Yemen, free Syria. We have to continue this work. I love you. I'll see you on the next one.
AI is destroying the environment in 60 seconds. When you enter a prompt on ChatGPT, it goes through thousands of calculations to figure out the best possible answer. These calculations aren't run by a fairy, they're run in physical data centers. When your laptop heats up because you have too many tabs open, well, these data centers heat up because they're going through so many calculations. And to keep servers from overheating, we need water to cool the equipment. Water transports the heat generated by data centers into cooling towers to help it escape the building. Sort of like how you release sweat to keep cool. Depending on where the data center is based, it uses a different amount of water. If it's based in a warmer town, it uses a lot of water. If it's based in a town with not a lot of water, it uses electricity, like ACs. If your town uses a lot of electricity for AI, the electric bill goes up for everyone. And if your town uses a lot of water for AI, it means less water for you and for other things. In West Des Moines, Iowa, Microsoft's data center used 6% of the water in that town. And in Oregon, Google used 25% of the water in that town. ChatGPT uses this much water for a 100-word email. So stop using it. Which is easier than you think. Because if AI stands for artificial intelligence, then who has real intelligence?
I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today.
Of course, Zuckerberg is trying to rebrand himself as your pro-free speech buddy days before the TikTok ban goes into effect. Yeah, you know the TikTok ban where American citizens lose their ability to express speech freely on a platform? The TikTok ban that Meta spent lots of money lobbying to make sure actually happened? Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
I founded Facebook because of my deeply held belief that I should be able to monopolize your access to speech on the internet, and I believe that to this day. Yes, I know, we kind of look alike. I'm trying to play it off a little. He also went on Rogan's podcast and tried to absolve himself and Meta for their participation in active censorship, propaganda, and misinformation.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse.
I didn't want to do it, you guys, but they yelled at me, and I'm just a helpless tech billionaire. I don't have any power. Now don't get it confused. Nobody's changing sides or switching loyalties. This is just a marketing campaign. They removed TikTok because they want American businesses to have complete global supremacy over the social media marketplace. So now they have to convince all the people being forced to leave TikTok to take their quite valuable business to someplace American. Now part of this marketing campaign is going to involve mainstream politicians and corporate media channels heavily criticizing what Meta is doing here.
I think it's really shameful.
Why is that, you ask? Because the narrative of TikTok is that it's a place of rebellion, where protests and boycotts are being started, where truths are being revealed, where people are being awakened, where support is being garnered for normally completely disregarded groups of people. Of course, it's not really the app that's doing that, right? It's the users on it. It's the way people use it. Essentially, people on this app are increasingly interested in challenging the status quo and standing up to authority, which means that having the authority and the establishment collectively speak out against Meta in a unified voice is probably the best marketing imaginable right now. Now, if you are an American and you don't want to lose access to my silly face, I invite you to go click the link in my bio. Scroll to the bottom of my link tree and you can find links to follow me on other platforms. I would particularly appreciate you following me on YouTube, as I would like to transition into making more long-form content. Also, because I repost my TikToks as YouTube Shorts, but their algorithm doesn't like me very much. I don't think I've ever gotten more than 5,000 views, so maybe we can fix that. Anyway, have a good day.
Breaking news. Meta, which concludes Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, will be terminating all major diversity equity programs effective immediately, which illustrates how they took a particular struggle of people, monetized it, and then when it was no longer trendy to support it, dumped it like a bad habit of apple. Now, a lot of those things happen because of Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement, and I guess, gender violence and Black lives don't matter no more, I guess. I don't know, it's just really showing that they crazy.
Do you know that we have a concentration camp that's happening right now in 2025? That there's an open air prison happening that no one's talking about? I thought that we said never again to the Holocaust. Holocaust Memorial Day is coming up on January 27th. So I think instead of everyone talking and pretending that they know things about history and peace on earth and all the best for the new year, how about we actually put our money where our mouth is and actually take action and speak against this? because we need your voice. We need more than just passive scrolling, occasional likes, you know, little things like this. No, like, we need you to go outside and yell at the top of your lungs that this is not okay. 2025, what a time.
I am tired of sharing the obligation for creating a society with fucking idiots. I am tired of people rejecting facts in favor of their preferred dogma. I am tired of people who believe that children dying is an acceptable cost in a free society. Whoa. I am tired of being drawn into discourse in order to feed a profit-driven algorithm. I am tired of everyone's voice being equally valid in a conversation. Everyone's voice is not equally valid in every conversation. Sometimes people know more than you about a topic and you should just listen. I am tired of people with no ideas shouting no at people with solutions. I am tired of people whose identity revolves around what they don't like instead of what they do like. I'm tired of the boring, predictable ways mass media routinely fails us. I'm tired of my own ways, big and small, that I feed into that system. But mostly I am just tired.